let's welcome the man who's been with us through thick and thin, 2018, NADA Chairman Wes Lutz.
Good job. I don't want to follow a 6-year-old ever again. Hello, everyone. Are you a believer? Well, you should be, and I'll tell you why. 46,000 new cars are sold in America every day. 235,000 cars are sold throughout the world every day. 80 million vehicles were sold globally last year, which is the greatest number in history. And you know what? The vast majority of them were sold by dealers. And what does that tell you? Well, as I traveled around the world in 2018, my biggest takeaway was this. So many people want to write our narrative. You know, they say dealers are fighting the inevitable. Change is coming and they don't like it. The truth is, change is not coming fast enough. We love change. Dealers aren't fighting the future, we're writing it. You know, 5 years ago, critics said the direct-to-consumer model would demolish us. Pundits said dealers would have to be dragged kicking and screaming into the tech revolution. But dealers saw new technology as a way to improve their operations and trade customers out of their old vehicles. This year, Silicon Valley made lofty claims about the end of vehicle ownership. Well, good thing we're the dealers, because someone needs to let Silicon Valley know what the customer's actually thinking. Allow me to tell them, our customers are not going to change their lifestyles to fit the new narrative. Customers are not going to stop owning cars because someone from Wall Street tells them to. And we are not going to stop selling cars. Don't let others define what a dealer is, because you are the ultimate change agents. Don't let others write what's ahead for us, because we're the authors of that book. We do something really, really well. We listen to the customer. Just like the time Americans had only one expectation, faster horses. And instead, Henry Ford created a mass market car and a mass market price. And the public said, how the heck do we buy these if we're not rich? And dealers everywhere said, we'll show you how. And then Congress said, luxury tax, 100 years ago. And we said, not so fast. We don't ever forget the challenges we faced and conquered. You know, they've been huge challenges. The stock market crash in '29, the tires and gas rationing of World War I and II, peak oil prices in the 70s, the internet revolution of the 90s and Y2K, the Great Recession of 2008. Today, every time we came out stronger. This is our script of our design. I want to tell you a story. 5 years ago at the NADA J.D. Power New York Auto Forum, Bob Carter, the senior vice president of Toyota, gave their position on millennials. And this was not a popular opinion. Most people said millennials differ from previous generations in every way because they aren't getting married, they aren't buying property, and they're less likely to buy a car. But Bob said millennials are no different than any other group. Well, fast forward 5 years later, Bob was right. Millennials are now the second largest buying group in the market. Bloomberg said this group has defied that popular myth. Millennials roughly span the age of 18 to 35. And like every other generation, they grow up, they have families, and they settle down. So what does the Bob story tell us? We must always question predictions about our industry, especially when our customers are telling us something different. I love this quote from Wall Street. Wall Street claimed that owning a car costs more in the long run than using Uber. You know what the reality is? If you rely solely on ride-handling services to get around, it will cost you twice as much as owning a personal vehicle. Yes, that's twice as much, even if you live in a big city. AAA looked at 250,000 economy-level single-rider Uber trips in 20 cities. They found that the average cost of relying on ride-hailing was $20,118. How about owning a car? The average cost to own and operate a new vehicle in the same area was only $10,049. And that includes fuel, maintenance, repairs, insurance, licensing, registration, taxes, depreciation, loan interest, and parking on an average of 10,841 miles a year. That's less than $1 a mile. And those are on new cars. Remember, half of our sales were used cars, which make that number even lower. Well, how about Silicon Valley? Silicon Valley says that people look at their cars as a wasted investment. Reality check, people love their cars. Why? Because people prize convenience above all else. People value freedom above all else. The ability to just get up and go without waiting for anyone is a luxury people don't want to give up. People have very little interest in giving up their keys. Here's the reality. It's not Wall Street's job to tell the world what's happening in our market. It's not the OEM's job. We, as dealers, can't determine that either. Our customers tell us what they want from the market every day when they spend their money. And no one listens to the customer better than we do. At every turn of our existence, there was always a new system popping up. Ride-hailing, driverless cars, that's just the latest. There was a prediction that we'd be at level 4 autonomy by 2030. That's just 10 years from now. And full autonomy by 2050. Heck, I don't mind that prediction, but I want to remind all of you that I'm still waiting for my jetpack, my hoverboard, and my flying car. You know, dealers embrace change. If a customer wants it, we'll sell it. This isn't the first time critics have asked if people really need to come to me to buy a Jeep, or do people really need to go to you to buy an F-150 or a Nissan Altima? Let the drivers of America answer that question. They answer it when they walk through our door and buy a car because they had a second child and they need enough room for car seats. They answer it when college kids shop with their parents because they need to get to an internship or a new job when they graduate. And elderly buyers when they trade in their car for the latest model with the newest safety features like blind spot detection, backup cameras, and lane assist. And millions of customers answer it when they come back to our service departments time and time again. Well, I want to tell you one more story before I go. I spoke to the automotive press last fall in Detroit, where I questioned some of the narratives bantered around in the press. Here's my favorite headline from 2018. Let Sears' story be a lesson for auto dealers. So let's be honest. The last time I was in a Sears, it was 1964. I was 10 years old, and my mother was buying me blue jeans in the Husky department. And for you millennials, that's relaxed fit jeans now. So here we are, 2019, and we're change makers. Let me repeat that, change makers. With our market as the gold standard. Even the critics have to admit, with all the talk overshadowing the dealer network, they always compare themselves to us, right? Always. Well, I want you to know that there's nothing that I regret, except maybe following a 6-year-old on stage about this year. That was amazing. There's nothing I regret about the past year. Resistant to change, bring it on. We'll take on all comers. We've got this. So keep writing the script, continue searching for a better customer experience, keep defining this industry. You always have, and you always will. It was an amazing 2018, and I'd like to take the opportunity to thank my family, my coworkers at Extreme Dodge, and the great staff at NADA. It was an honor representing all of you in 2018. Thank you.